Hello, welcome everyone to another FPL video. My name is Mo and this is my channel FPL Inklink, where I'll be bringing you all the best and current content for FPL for the season of 2021-2022. Game week 1 has just ended, guys, so we'll be going through all the reactions this week. Who are the big hitters, who blanked, basically the whole story. So before we get stuck in, if you haven't liked this video, give it a like, subscribe to FPL Inklink, and let's get stuck into some big hitters and some blankers for game week 1. So who was the bigger hitters? Who was the big point scorers? We'll go through all of that today. So let's start off with who came number 1. So at number 1 we had Bruno Fernandes. What a start. So there was a lot of talk around Bruno Fernandes. Will he be in your squads? Will he not be in your squad? So his overall ownership was around, I think, just around 50% before the game week started. So there's a lot of noise around Bruno's form last season, at the end of it, the Europa League final, the European Championships for Portugal. But do you know what? He's come back with the best answer to all the doubters. He got a hat-trick, man of the match performance, and literally ran the show for United. Is this the start of something special? Can he carry this on? Has he thrown his hat again into the ring to say, look, I'm going to be the top Premier League goal scorer this season? Am I going to be part of that kind of competition? He certainly has. So we can already see his ownership has gone up to 56%, and I'm assuring you, if he gets another good week, it'll go further up and may even cross 60% in terms of ownership. So what did we really learn about Manchester United? So which players weren't playing? So Sancho kind of came in as a sub-performance. Varane got kind of unveiled before the game started itself. They were missing Cavani, Rashford due to injury. So there's a lot. Martial came on as a sub as well. So there's a lot of players still to come back into the United mix. What will that mean for Bruno? Will that affect his overall play? I don't think so. He's actually proved himself once again, and I believe he's going to be here. And he's going to be one of the best scorers or point scorers in the FPL game itself. So what have we learned from this game week? Why was he such a big hitter? He kind of got involved with most of the goals in terms of getting into good positions. I think the whole new VAR offside thickening of the lines is going to help as well. And he's on penalties as well. And guess what, guys? He didn't even take a single penalty this weekend, and he still bagged a hat-trick. So all of those who doubt him as being, or kind of label him as Fernandes, guys, he's more to the game than just penalties itself. So next week, Southampton away. Is he going to be a prime candidate to get some points? Of course, Southampton didn't look that great, to be fair. Yes, they scored earlier on with Armstrong in the game, but eventually they lost the game. They don't look as potent without Danny Ings, so I think that's going to be a good game. In terms of the armband, he's probably going to be one of the most popular captain choices based on the last week's performance and the opposition he is playing. So he was easily the biggest hitter for game week 1. Moving on now to my captain for game week 1, it was Mo Salah. So again, Mo Salah came in later on in the afternoon, so a lot of managers who, like myself, had captained Salah thought, oh God, have we chosen the wrong captain? But once again, it's only by three points, but 6 points in total if it was a captaincy choice. He didn't let us down once again. So 1 goal, 2 assists, could have had more, had a few chances. But you know, one thing I really enjoyed about Salah this time is a lot of people have labelled him as being selfish. And do you know what, guys? That is what, mean strikers and best strikers in the world will do, and he's one of the best finishers around, so he will take shots more frequently by himself, and he'll want to get, making sure that he gets a return in terms of goals and stuff. But generally, a great game by him once again. His ownership is around 55% now. He was around the 52-53% before the game week started. 17 points respectively. Once again, he's kind of made it firm that he's going to hit the 200 points club this season, and of course he's going to be going and gunning for the golden boot for this season. He got 32 goals in his first season back in 2017-18. Can he better that? We'll just have to wait and see. The competition is there, guys. So they got Burnley at home. So again, a really good fixture to come along. I can see him going up in ownership as well. And in terms of captaincy, he's probably going to be someone who's going to be considered as a favourite for captaincy option as well. So I'll put out a Twitter poll, guys, and more of you actually chose Salah for game week 2 as captain from the polls that came in. So thank you for whoever participated and put their votes in. At number 3, so let's go on to the Kings of the Week to find him. We've got Mr. Paul Pogba himself. Now, he became the first Manchester United player to get 4 assists in one Premier League game week itself. Phenomenal achievement. Now, what does that mean about Pogba himself? So his ownership has gone up from about, I think it was around 3% ownership for game week 1 to already 11%. For me, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon just yet. I want to see a bit more consistency from him around his gameplay, and can he do it week in, week out? There's no doubt he can. He's proved it for France. He's proved it previously, even at Manchester when he was at before, and he's proved it in parts here and there as well. And even when he was back in Italy playing for his previous club, he did prove that he's one of the world's best when he is on his day. But can we get it week in, week out? We'll just have to wait and see. So 16 points himself. Again, he's got Southampton next week. Are you going to be a differential, or will you put a captaincy armband on him? That'd be a brave call considering how well most managers have done this week. It was a freak week. I assure you, if you're playing this for the first time, the game doesn't roll like this. We don't get 100 points week in, week out. All the big hitters don't really come off every single week. So I think we might get a bit more kind of normality back in FPL in terms of overall points. But again, he had a great week. He's got a good fixture coming up. So if you do look to bring him in, I think it might be the right time now. I'm not jumping on him just yet, but I'm just going to wait and see how he fares up. If he does well, then maybe for the Wolves game, I may consider bringing him in just before United get their tough run of fixtures in game week 9. The next player we had is Marcos Alonso. So there's a lot of talk about him pre-season. So a lot of experts and FPL managers were kind of debating, are we going to play him? Are we not going to play him? Is there going to be a risk of rotation? But you know what? He's gone well in his first game. He was, I think he was around 7 mil at one point in FPL terms, because he was one of the best wing backs of that occasion back in 2017-18, but then kind of lost his way. He's always been good on free kicks, scored a fabulous free kick. Again, the risk of rotation is going to be the question. Will he play week in, week out, with obviously game week competitions coming up in like European leagues and stuff? But you know what? He did fantastically well, so he was a big hitter. So congrats to all the managers that actually had him in their squads. 4.9% of managers have him at the moment, and I assure you, if he does well against Arsenal, I don't think maybe in Liverpool game he might not get much ownership, but definitely around the Villa game he might get a bit more ownership. And Chelsea have better fixtures in game week 7, so I'm going to have him on my radar. So if he does perform to that level, I may look to bring him in game week 7 and replace him with someone of my kind of defenders of 5.5 equivalent, so maybe like a Digne or even like a Cresswell itself. So we'll wait and see how it goes. At number 5, another Chelsea defender. We'll go through, it's Trevor Chalobah. So what a goal. It was so emotional. It was so nice to see him score his goal and show his emotion on the pitch. He's selected by around 2% of managers. Personally, great achievement by him. Played 90 minutes. Will he get game week minutes week in, week out? We just have to wait and see once the full squad comes back for this next game week, because of the whole midweek game in the Europe game that they played against. I think they were playing... Who did they play again? It was Villarreal that they played. So yeah, again, the team that they played. So they played midweek. Obviously, players were arrested. Brought him in. He's got a goal. So let's see if they're going to bring. It's 5 mil, so it's quite a hefty price. I'd rather go for someone like a Koval. But hats off to him. He was one of the big hitters. So I thought I'd mention him in this big hitters video. So let's go through some of the blanks. So who are the kind of like big blankers of the week so far? So number 1, I'm going to be going through, it's just a random order, guys. So it's just the random order that I've made. Going to be Rafinha. So yes, he only got 1 point, got a yellow card, had a glorious chance to score a goal in the game at the end, but put it past the post. I expect him to do better. There's a lot of people actually at the moment thinking, whether to take him out. Was it a wise move or not? I think we just got to be patient with him. They played at Manchester United at Old Trafford in front of a full house. It was always going to be a difficult fixture, and especially after how they performed last season, losing 6-2. He had the chance to get a goal, probably would have got another 5 points, would have been about 6 points, so people would have been a bit more kind of content and satisfied with his performance. But we shouldn't have jumped the gun straight away. They've got Everton at home next week. I think it'll be a good game, but they've got a really good run coming from game week 5. So if you have chosen him, you've chosen him for a reason. So I wouldn't go like dropping him straight away and taking hits in game week 2. So just be a bit patient, give him time. He certainly will come good. At number 2, we're going to be going through Sadio Mane. So a lot of players and managers have actually decided to go differential and not play Bruno and brought Mane instead. So Mane got 3 points, Bruno got 20. So there was clearly a 17-point disparity there, and 34 points if we took it from a captaincy perspective as well, if they'd captain Mane instead. So again, he's blank this week. He didn't have a great season last season. I think it's too early to call after game week 1. He got into some really good positions, linked up really well once Firmino came on. Between him, Salah, Firmino, the trio kind of looked, a lot more threatening. He will have games where he will go big, guys. So in terms of being someone who's blank this week, yes, it's a bit more of a, I say a bit more of a shock to the system considering how many other premiums and players have performed. So the rank disparity has kind of like become quite more wider in game week 1 immediately than it would have been from previous seasons. So yeah, he did blank, but he does have some good fixtures coming up, guys. Burnley, Crystal Palace, Brentford are coming up in the first couple of game weeks for him as well. So if you have chosen him, maybe it's time to remain patient. But if you want to do a straight swap, Sadio Mane to Bruno, you won't be taking any hits. So that wouldn't be a surprise for me. But he's got 4% ownership. I don't see that increasing significantly just yet, but he did indeed blank in game week 1. The next person who blanked for me, who I had good expectations for, was Smith Rowe for Arsenal. So the new number 10, 5.5 million in price, 7% ownership. He only got 2 points. Arsenal, as a team, didn't look that great, but he was one of the players, along with a few more I could potentially say, potentially Saka, were the two players who actually played a real good game. So we could see kind of glimpses of them. But there's sometimes in FPL, just because someone plays good on the field in the football, it doesn't mean they play really well in the FPL game itself. So for example, James Milner, Kante, Henderson, fantastic footballers on the pitch, Fernandinho, but in terms of FPL, they probably won't get you much rewards itself. But he did get 5 assists and 2 goals last season, so maybe being patient with him will be the right way. But I can see a lot of managers dropping him this game week. They got Chelsea at home, followed by Man City. But again, it's only one game week, guys. We shouldn't write off players, but he did indeed blank, and I did have high expectations for him indeed. The next player who showed some really good form in pre-season was Riyad Mahrez. So didn't have the best of games, had a really good chance in the game to score, put it past the post, lost balance, slipped. But the expectations was for him to go big. It was Spurs away without Harry Kane, so I thought they did have the kind of like comparative advantage over Spurs, or the psychological advantage, but just didn't pay off as well. So 9 million price, so a lot of players and managers of this game did put faith in him. But again, it's too early to call. It's only one game week. He does have moments where he does like to go big, and he got into some really good positions, so we just got to be patient to see. But he did indeed blank with 2 points. But looking fixtures-wise, Norwich next week at home, I will not be surprised if most those managers who own him might actually go differential and put him as captaincy, because there could be some goals scored there after Norwich shipped a few goals against Liverpool. So again, he might blank this week as a blanker, but let's have some hope for him to come back with a bang. The next player is Jack Grealish. So Mr. Grealish himself, £100 million, most expensive British transfer player, high ownership at that point, so he's about 25%. I see his ownership has decreased. There was a moment in the game where he could have crossed it, squared it, to Torres, but he decided to go for a shot and Lloris saved it. That could have been a moment where he could have got an assist, and at one point could have become 5, maybe 6 points, for maybe some bonuses included as well. But he did indeed blank first game week, so we shouldn't judge him too quickly. Norwich next week in game week 2, so I think that could be a game where he can come into his own element. Probably was getting the feel of the environment, not being the main man anymore himself alone, playing with some really big personalities, so it will take a bit of time to settle. But he did indeed blank for game week 1, where there was expectations for him to hit the ground running. And last but not least, it's Mr. Ivan Toney. So he only got 2 points this game week, but if you watched him in the Arsenal game itself, the guy physically absolutely bullied the Arsenal defence. So he may have blanked this game week, but I've seen enough from him in one game week where I think he will have moments this season where he will score points. So if you have him in your squad at 30% ownership, don't drop him straight away. He's got a good fixture at Crystal Palace. I could be sitting here next week talking about him as being a big hitter in this video again. So let's just be patient to see how he rolls. A really good start for him in terms of the game itself, to have his presence and kind of lay his mark on the Premier League itself. But from an FPL perspective, blank this game week. So we have some expectations for him to go big in the next coming weeks itself. So those are the big hitters and the blankers for the game week 1. What are your thoughts? Who are the other players that you thought that did well for you, or kind of disappointed you when you selected them for this game week? Let me know. Drop me some comments, guys. Hit the like button if you like this content. Hit that subscribe button to subscribe to FPL Inkling and help me grow this channel. Let's get to that 1,000 subscribers mark as soon as possible. I'll see you soon. Till then, best of luck with game week 2. Take care.